Hello, this is Ron, and goodbye to Verizon Wireless and the ever-faithful LG Envy. How you royally screwed me, Verizon, screw you, goodbye. Hello to AT&T and the iPhone. I love this thing. I so love this thing. I don't even have to turn my computer on anymore. Next day, got the hybrid shell. Pretty indestructible. I'm not going to raise it any higher and slam it, of course. And, I can do everything on this thing. Like I said, I don't even have to turn my computer on anymore. I love this. Everybody should get one. Okay, maybe not everybody. So, what brings me here today is that I was looking for a dock, and I was looking, and looking, and looking, and oh my god, the prices are insane for these things. All I want to do is listen to music. However, I figured that I already got that. For my PSP, it's got an auxiliary input, so I don't need to make, or actually buy a dock. I'm going to just make an actual dock and just hook up the auxiliary port. And what I made is already in view, and it is this. The original PlayStation 1 controller, non-DualShock. And I just took the little dock cord, the little sync cord, hollowed out the insides of this thing, took out the circuit board, and made a dock out of it. Works fairly well. Check this out. Neat. It's all charged up. Oh, the charge cable's already inside. And I gotta move this back a little bit. Plug that in. Turn on the speakers, auxiliary on, and voice controls on for some reason. Go to iPod, and what do we got loaded? Oh, I got some Bauhaus burning from the inside. Ain't that neat? I've seen other people make docks out of various things. I've seen the coolest rotating dock, Lego dock. I've seen a Nintendo controller dock. So I figured, what the hell, let's make a PlayStation one. And here's the process. So I got this crummy beat-up controller at GameStop a few years ago for $2, if I remember correctly. I purchased it with the intention of building an arcade stick for a MAME project, which I have yet to start. Anyway, the first thing to do is, with an 1/8" Phillips head screwdriver, remove the screws from the bottom. That's pretty straightforward. And after that, it's easy to pry apart, but be careful because the innards may fly out. And here's a view of the controller taken completely apart. The PC board and cable wasn't needed, so I wrapped that up for future use. I then gave the shell quick soap and rinse because there was quite a bit of gamer grime built up, and it wasn't mine either. Next, I needed to find a place to mount the sync cable, and above the select start buttons looked like the perfect spot. I matched up the width of the head to be a little bit bigger than a 5/32 drill bit, so I drilled a few holes along that line and used a rotary tool to widen it out. The result ended well, with the sync cable fitting fairly snugly. A test fit showed it was just right. The next part involved your average super glue, and it was messy. I cemented both sides of the sync head and slid it in. I held in place for a couple minutes and it bonded nicely. Another couple layers between and about the shell and head, and it was good to go. Now, since the PC board was removed, there was a good 1/8" gap missing internally, and so the buttons and D-pad unfortunately had to be glued in. After that, you just screw it back together and you're done. I have one gripe. Since I wanted the iPhone to be sitting on the controller, the square button, which I didn't factor in, got kind of pushed down. As you can see, the other face buttons are sticking up while the square button is kind of sunken in. Other than that, it's pretty well. It stays rigid. I can kind of move it like that. Stays in place. No problems with it. It's not going to tip over. It stands almost directly straight up, if not a half degree leaning forward, but it's no big deal at all. And there you have it. an iPhone/iPod PS1 Controller dock.